that phrases, even paragraphs, are needed to capture the poetry of the act. The essence of criticism, for me, is as the pursuit of some shared notion of truth and beauty and transcendent values, is to engage our shared language to generate and expand discourse in the public sphere. As flawed and imperfect as that discourse is, without it, we would be hostage to the solipsism of every faction, social movement, political leader, and dance practitioner who claimed to be above or beyond language and mutual conversation. The word, or logos, which the Bible claims brought the world into being when clearly, as we all know, it was movement, has its limits. And words are often used in a brutish and two-dimensional fashion, but so are dances. Words are signifiers capable of carving out great meaning and haunting beauty about the things they signify. When they fail, it's often the messenger and not the message system that's lacking. Is writing a substitute for dance? Hardly. But most of us can agree that at bottom, it is vital that we have people writing about dance with vivid intelligence. Dance leaves no artifact behind. Wrapping words around the vanished moment becomes a means to transform the ghostly experience through an emulsion of words into something we can partially see again. In our culture, a written record is also proof that you exist. As for the inability to translate across the divide, for those of us who hold Plato's idealism in one hand and John Dewey's pragmatism in the other, everything is both an act of translation and nothing more than itself. I'm a translation, and I'm only me. My dance writing is a translation, and it is itself. My name is a translation, my body and my presence here tonight are translations. My dance writing translates to paper my experience of the dance I watch, and it always does through my imperfect writing skills and the limitations of my understanding. And I don't only mean my understanding of the work, but the understanding of my own thought. My name is a translation of my father's urge for continuity, passing on his love for his mother by giving his daughter her name. It's also a translation of my mother's lost battle to name me something else. My name is not me, and still it's inextricable from who I am and have become, forever translating me to the world. My body is endlessly mediating my soul, and though it often seems to have little to do with anything non-corporeal, this body is, for better and for worse, the mouthpiece of what I am. My presence here tonight is a translation of my ideal presence, which I can only imperfectly imagine and can't attain. So, what of the future of dance criticism? The future of dance criticism is an unknown. I find that exciting because of the endless possibilities of the internet. I find that terrifying because of the tyrannical cacophony of the internet. The mob rules, yet out of the chaos can come structures we haven't dreamed of. The mob rules, and that can be very ugly, as some of us know firsthand. Dismantling printing presses, newspaper infrastructure, and intelligent journalistic culture worries me. The internet isn't alone to blame. Remember that corporate raiders bought up papers, pirated their assets, then left nearly empty shells to totter into the 21st century. Libertarians consumed progressive weeklies around the country and divested them of their political and aesthetic content. We need to beware of how vulnerable to oligarchies and corporate elites centralized information is. Countries like China and Russia are all too happy to control news and suppress opinion. Corporations like AT&T would prefer to sell bandwidth to the rich. The end of family-run print journalism and the destruction of the old information infrastructure with its ideals and ethical standards challenges us to ensure that information remains free and freely shared. It also cries out for discipline and purpose. These were the hallmarks of the best 20th century journalism. May they become them for the 21st.
Thank you, Anne Murphy. And last but not least,
Wow, thank you. Okay, what am I doing here? Introducing myself as a dance writer. 1, compared to my co-panelists, I am barely a dance writer. I am a wannabe writer who is motivated towards performance, history, activism, journalism, and theory. I have academic and aesthetic interests in dance and performance writing. I am a delinquent PhD student who owes a bunch of writing that I just can't seem to do, and I can't complete half the dance review assignments I've accepted. I'm a dancer and a dance thinker struggling to write. I consider most of my writing as rehearsal for the stuff I really want to write, but am not ready to write. I think there should be more writing about dance, performance, and ritual, especially from the Bay Area. My dance writing has appeared mostly in artist-driven or peer-written publications and sites. 2. Like many choreographers, I do a lot of dance writing that is invisible. I write thousands of words for grants and proposals, as well as countless letters of reference to help other choreographers get into grad school or to get grants of their own. 3. I have been written about more than I have written, so my perspective is framed by spending most of my time on the other end of the pen. I have a complicated relationship to the writing about my own work. 4. In the promo for this event, I'm standing on my head, without my hands, unstable, about to fall. An image that reflects my attempts to write dance, perhaps. 5. Until 2005, most of my writing about dance was in response to dance critics and reviewers. I wrote letters, complaining about the disservice to artists and audiences. And I wrote several counterattacks against Alan Ulrich, a bitter conservative who wrote for the San Francisco Chronicle for way too many years, and then branched out to various publications, including Voice of Dance, a vanity site paid for by the billionaire financier Warren Hellman. I especially loathe dance writing that pretends to be neutral in serving an ill-informed and easily prejudiced normal reader who just happens to be white, middle class, and fearful of difference. 6. Generally, the world of the stage is not the everyday world. For most of us, that's the point. To create and inhabit a world of possibility and revelation, where time and space are elastic, where bodies speak, where words dance, and images resonate. But the magic of this world is framed by the worlds around it. This is context. I am interested in dance writing that discusses the context of the dance, its relationship to social systems and cultural patterns. Does the work fit a genre, play with genres, or invent a genre? What does it anticipate in terms of a relationship to the audience? Who made it? Under what conditions? Where was it presented, and to whom? What resources were required, and where did they come from? How do the dancers touch, or not? Does the dance affirm or disrupt sexist and homophobic patterns? How do the dancers respond to gravity, to the floor? What are the assumptions or expectations of the work? And how do these aspects reveal a political, philosophical, or moral bias of the choreographer? What are the politics and histories of the style of dancing performed in the work? What are the genders, ethnicities, abilities of the dancers and the audience? How much hype was used to sell the dance, and does the work fit the hype? What cultural lineages does this dance emerge from? How does the work respond to post-1950s questions and theories about dance, about presence, the body, identity, and performance? 7. My dance writing has an agenda. It serves a bias towards San Francisco, towards somehow responding to the critical concerns of the 60s and 70s, towards the comments or disruptions of classical line, shape, and verticality. For example, Alonzo King, yes, Janice Garrett, no. Towards the non-heteronormative, towards not being obedient to strict interpretation of style, whether ballet or hip-hop, contact improv or Odissi, towards post-Brechtian or postmodern, meaning that the performance acknowledges that it is a performance. 8. I often point out that no art has fewer books about it than dance. Go to any bookstore. If there is a dance section, it will be hard to find. Then it will be the smallest section, and then you will have to dance to get to it, meaning it will not be at anyone's eye level, so you will have to get down on your knees or ask for a stepladder. Nonetheless, since Susan Foster's 1986 book, Reading Dancing, there has been a small explosion of dance writing in North America and Europe, perhaps elsewhere also. The field of dance studies and the writing that it encourages